All right. Welcome, everyone. This is an open door. It's June 26th, 2025. This is the hour that I called Finding Truth Everywhere, where we tend to do homework. Homework's the word, right? But we assign a podcast, and then everybody kind of watches or not watches the podcast beforehand, and then we come and we take an hour and we talk about what's the same, what's true. This week, the assignment was a satsang from Helen Hamilton, and I watched it once at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's another story. And then I went through the second time, and then I went through the exercise she does a third time, and it really dropped here that why discuss it as if it's an intellectual exercise when instead we could go ahead and experience this first 20 minutes together and then have a exchange about what our direct experience was. So I'll even tell you, if you haven't watched the podcast beforehand, it's an open eye experience of literally being aware of um, our it was funny, I got distracted because Michelle showed up, and she showed up as Awakening Together, and I'm looking at her going, but Mel's already here, and she's like, it just all kind of, if anyone doesn't know Michelle, this is my friend Michelle. In any case, she takes us through an open eye experience. She invites you to really keep your eyes open and find something in your space that you can even touch, and just notice how it appears to be separate from you. And then she invites you to be with, or to recognize that there's something in your space that doesn't know separation, that is formless. And there is a question later on in the podcast, which we're not going to do together, where the woman says, but I see separation. And Helen says, with your physical eyes, yes, but there's something else here. And are you aware of that? Are you aware of she's calling it emptiness. And the woman said, oh, so you're not talking about eliminating physical sight. And Helen said, no. As an awakened being, the physical senses are still activated, they're still working. I am not walking into walls, right? There is this sense as a physical being of a me and a not me. And there's something else that the physical senses aren't going to pick up. So, for whatever reason, there was the impulse to describe what's about to happen. And it's really, really good to be here with all of you, especially you, William. Not especially you, but
No,
you too. I just know you like it when I do that. So,
I do too.
all right, here we go. Let me mute myself.
So, namaste, welcome to satsang today. Is not coming from the body and mind. It's so satsang is for the highest purpose, the highest realization of truth, and not only realization of it, but living as that truth. And there is no greater reason for which human beings gather together than to recognize who we really are. And as such, let's just take a moment to acknowledge the fact that wherever we are in the world watching this, or whenever you watch this, whether you're watching live now here or later, years from now, that it is the same one being that is watching this, participating in many forms, many, many forms. The truth is that there is only one being, one formless consciousness, one presence. And it is experiencing itself in an infinite number of forms. And in the human form, when it takes a human form, it can seemingly become obsessed with perceiving objects. It gets lost in that for a while. It forgets itself, apparently, and forgets that it's not an object, it's not a form. And then somehow it ends up back in satsang to consciously recognize its own infinite emptiness, nothingness. And today, I wanted to really dive into one of the main reasons that we find it so challenging to recognize who we are. And perhaps even when we have recognized it, how challenging it seems to be to live like that, as that real truth. And it was a part of my own journey, of course, like everything that's been spoken about here, it's come from my own experience where I really struggled for a long time. And hopefully we can bring some light to it and simplify the process for all of us here. And so really already we have two ways of perceiving. Already we have two methods of perceiving. The first is through the senses, the human senses, our eyes, ears, all of that. The five senses that we're all very familiar with. And while we perceive everything through our senses, and the mind will then think about what we're perceiving. And from the level of the senses, it really seems to be that there is a world full of objects, in which our own body is one of those objects, one of those phenomena. And it really looks and feels and is experienced as if everything and everyone is separate to each other. But simultaneously, we also have another faculty of perception, which we may feel not so accustomed to, so used to. It's normal that in the morning when the eyes open, perception through the senses begins. The body starts to move around, gets out of bed and does all those things. And that mode of perception is natural to us, effortless. You're not making any effort right now to hear through your ears or to see through your eyes. It's just happening. But this other mode of perception is also effortlessly here right now. And it's important to note that we have this other way of perceiving. Did you know that right now you can perceive form through the senses, and you can have a variety of experiences of different forms? Forms inside, such as emotions and thoughts, and forms outside, such as other people, furniture in the room that you're sitting in, all of that, other bodies. But at the same time, you can perceive formlessness, emptiness, presence, what you really are. Today, I'm going to call it emptiness, I think, but we could use any word. We could use formlessness, silence, stillness, the divine. We could use the word noumenon, which just simply means that which is not a phenomenon, not perceivable with the senses. Right now, you can already perceive form and formless, and I'd like to do a little investigation together just to prove this to us right now, to ourselves today here. that we can already perceive formlessness. And the reason for this is because most of our spiritual search, our journey, what takes so long to recognize ourselves is that we're making some attempt to come to a place where we can recognize formlessness. But if we can realize today, now, that we already have both modes of perception available to us right now, then things are going to shift in that seeing. That I'm not a person, I'm not a form on a journey to formless emptiness. I'm not a someone trying to reach emptiness. I am emptiness already. So let's do that now. So we're going to just start by looking at a particular object in the room that we're sitting in. Any object at all. It doesn't matter which one it is. We're just going to gently stare at it. You don't have to. Sometimes I've done this, people out there kind of really staring. You can relax your gaze, just looking at an object, any object at all. It could be whatever device you're using to watch this satsang on. Could be your hand, your body, or a plant or something in the room. And we're just going to spend some time looking at the form, using our eyes. If it's close enough, you can also touch the form. You can use your other sense of touch to also experience the form. Right now, you're perceiving forms easily. And then, as our eyes gently remain on the form, we're going to shift our attention to the emptiness that is around the form. So right now, as I'm talking, I'm using this laptop to host the Zoom meeting. And my eyes are looking at the shape of the laptop. And my attention doesn't have to stay where the forms are. My attention can shift to the emptiness, the empty space, the formlessness already here, around, in front of, behind, and around the object, the laptop for me. So I'm noticing with my eyes the shape, the form, and my attention is on the formless emptiness. So right now, simultaneously, my attention is able to rest on the emptiness, and my senses can rest on the forms. Perception of form and formless, engaging both of these modes at the same time. So we're just gently looking at the form, the object, whatever it is, with our eyes, noticing that we can also simultaneously perceive the formless emptiness around the object. And the reason it's important to see that we can perceive both ways at the same time is it begins to show us that our attention doesn't always have to go with the forms, that we can move around our world using our senses, go to work, do whatever we're doing, and yet attention can remain more and more on this emptiness. Bringing attention back to the emptiness around the object, where our eyes just gently gaze. So right now, it's important to note that your attention can go to where you want it to be on the emptiness, the nothingness, the formlessness, while your senses and even your mind are doing what they do, your body. That you are not, perhaps as we may have thought before, attention doesn't have to go with what's happening in phenomena. Not that there's anything wrong with phenomena at all. But if attention moves around from phenomenon to phenomenon, just because the eyes go to another object, Does the attention have to go right to it? No. As we're perceiving the emptiness around the object, we're starting to realize that there isn't lots of emptinesses. There's just one open emptiness in which these objects, a laptop and a body, these words all seem to be appearing. And as you're listening, try not to go into a deep state. Try not to close your eyes. You can blink, of course. But we're going to discover something really vital about ourselves here, that we already have two modes of perception. The first is to easily recognize forms. The second is to easily recognize formless emptiness. You know it's here. You can't see emptiness with your eyes, it's invisible. You can't touch the emptiness. I could pick up this laptop with my hands, but could I pick up the emptiness around it? No. And the mind will say, well, of course you can perceive it. It's just empty space. It's just the absence of things. But actually, it's so much more than that. It is the obvious emptiness that's everywhere that we overlook. And every time we have had a glimpse of who we are, this emptiness, as soon as a thought arises, usually attention leaves the emptiness and goes to a thought. Attention, not you, because you are the emptiness. And if we can prove to ourselves right now, attention can remain on the emptiness while forms are just coming and going, internal forms of thoughts and emotions, external forms, tangible, solid objects, then we're free right now. We're living free right now. Again, let's just notice that we're proving it to ourselves already. Our eyes are resting gently on a form, and our attention, where our focus is different. It doesn't have to follow around the senses. It can remain on the emptiness around an object. Taking a moment to notice the emptiness around the object. So you are perceiving with both of these modes, one that perceives form, the senses, and one that perceives formless, emptiness. What are you then, if you can already perceive form and emptiness right now effortlessly? What are you? You can't simply be a person if you can already perceive formless emptiness. And you didn't have to do years and years of meditation to perceive it. I simply asked you to shift your attention from the form to the emptiness around the form. It was just a shift in the way that you were looking with attention. When you're perceiving emptiness, it's not like looking at a form, is it? It's not, I'm going to look over here at emptiness or over there. It's just the knowing, the seeing somehow that emptiness is here already. Just taking another moment to reconfirm that attention does not have to go where the mind goes or where the senses go. Maybe we just had this idea that it does have to go. It has to jump around everywhere, from thought to emotion, to emptiness, to a thought, to emptiness, to an experience, to emptiness, and on and on. Why then is it helpful to know this? Because if we are trying to come to a place in our spiritual journey, if the whole reason for being in satsang even is to learn how to perceive formlessness, how to recognize yourself, this exercise kind of really puts that to bed once and for all. Here you are, recognizing yourself as form through the apparent form and senses, and recognizing yourself as formless emptiness right now, already, today, here. And if you look at this, you'll see that you've always been able to do this. If you really want to deepen this experience, you can try to find where the emptiness around the object ends and where the object starts. Just have a explore. Can you find where the emptiness stops and where the laptop starts, or the object? How big is the emptiness of your being? And as we explore like this, we're coming to realize that there's something already present here, now, that can perceive form or formless simultaneously, form and formless simultaneously. As we practice like this, it just becomes a habit that attention rests more and more on the emptiness. And the senses are free to do whatever they do, experience whatever they experience. But as attention rests more on the emptiness, a state of quietness and equanimity begins to develop. The reason we're so up and down and our experience is changing is because our body is constantly having to experience what we think about whichever object we're paying attention to. Fear arises inside, attention goes to it, and the mind starts to think about the fear. But imagine for a moment if you had shown your attention like this, that it can simply remain on emptiness even when fear arises. Fear would just then arise, last for as long as it lasts for, and dissipate, like every form. So just checking again, the attention is on the emptiness. It will want to go back to the form out of habit only, and just bringing it back to perceiving the emptiness around the object, the empty space. What if the thing that we have labeled as the least valuable in our experience is actually the most important? Just empty space, we've called it. It may even seem boring. What is the point of paying attention to empty space? Because it's not really empty space, it's something so much more. It is who we are. Notice that emptiness is not impacted by any of the objects arising in it. So we could spend a whole lifetime perceiving through the senses and mind, trying to get to emptiness. Or we could perceive emptiness is here already now, fundamentally here. And most importantly, that we're already able to perceive, to recognize emptiness now, formless presence.
As you're inspired, I have learned um, the value of using our voice and our words to describe our direct experience. Somehow it helps install the memory of that in our system. And so this room is now open for anything you'd like to share about what that experience was like for you. Please, Patricia.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Hugs and love. It was wonderful. It was just wonderful. I practice being in the now and practice being in awareness when I remember, that is. But this gave it another dimension of the perception of emptiness around the objects that I was looking at. And that I think is really changing for me. I think that my awareness has expanded. So I'm very grateful for this. Thank you for sharing this with us, Cindy. And I look forward to seeing it again. Thank you.
Amy.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see everybody. I'm very glad to be back in the emptiness of Maine, where it's about 72 degrees and low humidity from the DC area where it was about 98 and or 100% humidity. So the body certainly experienced form. What this does for me is reinforces the experience that everything arises in the mind, and that it's actually all formless emptiness, and that things just blip in and out of awareness too rapidly for the physical senses to perceive it. And it really blows my mind. I mean, Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. And it's true. All the world is this empty openness where things appear and disappear and change. And it's just amazing. It just fills me with awe. And it's all happening within my awareness, all of our awareness, all the time. So great exercise. Thank you. Really, really good.
As I was listening to you, I was reminded of how she opened the satsang. Just the reminder that there is only one consciousness. Where all these individuated expressions of it. She also pointed to time as part of the illusion, right? Time is also something that happens in the mind. She pointed to the understanding that there is only one consciousness, and that consciousness is now. So regardless of the date and time you believe that you are having this experience, it is only the one consciousness having the experience now. Even as I say that, I'm feeling the form. I'll use what some people say is my favorite word, right? I'm feeling the sense of a physical form contracting. Because the physical form doesn't understand the experience of only one consciousness or not linear time, right? It feels to be embedded with something other than that. So there's literally, I used a description before, it feels like the grape is becoming the raisin. That's sort of like physical sensory experience that happens as I voice what I accept to be true, which is there is only one mind, there is only one consciousness, and we're in unique, individuated expressions of that, but never separate from the rise and fall within it. And with that being said, it is such a joy that you're here, Richard.
Well, first of all, everything Amy said, I found it's the first time that I've had experienced this particular exercise. And I found that my attention kept being drawn back to the form. And in order to stay in that space of having my attention on the formless, I had to defocus. Because as soon as I focused and made the form clearer, then that's where my attention wanted to go. If I would defocus, then I could convince myself maybe that I was actually giving my attention to the emptiness. It's something that I'm going to be working with because I think it's a very powerful practice once one gets it and can actually make that disconnect. That, when I have my next door neighbor experienced a fall. He's in his 80s and he experienced a fall last week. And when I look at him and I see the effects, the physical effects of that, my attention, even though intellectually I understand that that isn't a reality, it's simply what I'm seeing as a reality. I still have a real hard time divorcing myself from it. And I'm thinking that if I can become proficient at this business of not ignoring, but experiencing what the senses are doing at the same time, having my attention elsewhere, that will hopefully be helpful.
I hold a certainty that it's helpful. While I was listening to you, I was reminded, I don't, it's over 20 years ago now. Something in me. Do you remember the mind's eye? I don't know if there's still that the mind's eye exercises. There was something that I couldn't do them. I just, no matter how much I looked and tried to work, I couldn't make the 2D objects 3D. But I bought these books, and every day I spent a few minutes practicing softening. And one day it worked. And then there was a little waffling. And now I can pick up these books once a year and within 20 seconds can turn a 2D object into a 3D experience. But those first weeks or however, I don't remember how long it took, it didn't work. No matter how long I spent trying to soften the eyes and relax and move through, 2D stayed 2D. And then one day it didn't. And once you get it, right? And so I don't, something pulled me into that experience and it reminded me that we just keep showing up and practicing and doing the best we can with this. And they're fun. They're fun turning 2D objects into 3D. William, thank you for being here.
What I'm noticing is that I spend more and more time going into what it feels like the space, and I'm calling it the imagination of the inner space. And it is that formless. And a lot of images are there, but I find the word permission. I have permission to not only be my senses and my connection with these objects that my five senses tell me about, because it's like I just go into the space inside. I don't have to do anything about those images. I don't have to do anything about the outside forms. And in talking with my wife this morning, I could do both. I just love that permission. I don't have to be so accountable, responsible for my thoughts, sensations, the forms that I've lived my life. Whatever percentage, 10%, 99%, that's okay. Because now it's like, oh, there's a space somewhere and I get to hang out there. And I don't have to go out and make sense or control or defend out there. I just retreat. It's almost like retreat. I just go inside. And it's so nice. So I love the way this perceived Helen. Just, it's like so simple. The truth gives me permission to just be. And I enjoy that, whether it's form and formless. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That day goes in the house.
Hi, everyone. So amazing to be here and so amazing to see that I am the formless and that everything is the formless. It's just, we just don't know it, but now I know it, and now I know I'm everything. I'm the formless and the formlessness. And that everything is here for me. So it's just so amazing. So thank you so much. This was so amazing. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Thank you. How was that for you, Mel?
Oh, hi, everyone. It is so good to be here. And Amy, we lost our AC at our house for the last couple of days, and it's 92 in our living room. But they're coming tomorrow. So I think I can, I'm okay. It's been okay. And this Helen Halberton's just was so helpful. I really just absorbed all of what she was talking about. And Richard, one thing that I found works for me better is to use sound and silence. So when you listen to sound, you can really sense the silence that's always there, out of which the sound arises and returns. That's kind of easier to me than looking at objects. So I just throw that out to you. That's really helped me a lot. And something else I love is, I don't know if that the Japanese, when they like plan a garden, they plan it around the space. They design the space, and then they put the object. So they design around. So it's just the complete reverse of how we do it. We put an object in right here and here and here, but they start with the space they want to create, the craft, and then place an object that will create that sort of space. So I thought that's also really cool, kind of what she's getting at. And I really helped. The first questioner really helped me, because that's where I got that the senses and the object are the same thing. That there's no separation between the seeing and the object. And that all brought it back to the oneness of everything. So that was, and finally, I loved at the end where she recognized that attention, we have no control over attention. It's just happening. There's no one doing any of that. So when you say, I want to put my attention somewhere, well, actually, it's just awareness. Attention is always moving, and there's really nobody controlling it. So you don't have to be hard on yourself about trying to do anything. It's just this, and it's just happening. And that's such a relief that we don't have to do anything. It's consciousness is doing, it all is happening by itself, orchestrated by love. So that's just such a wonderful, liberating understanding. So thank you. So good to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know that iPad 2 is Monique, so I'm calling on Monique now. Just the name I give that beautiful square.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That was beautiful. I just want to talking about an experience I had with the Course in Miracle, and it resembled what William was talking about. That's the experience I have when I do dyad. That's why I love to do dyad so much. But one time I was reading I don't know the first lesson. I was studying it, and the first lesson is nothing I see means anything, and somehow the word nothing, it's like I really heard it. I heard it deep down, like into my heart or into my body and my soul. I don't know how to explain. And then I thought, well, if nothing I see means anything, what is it? What is there? So I look in the window. I was sitting in my chair and I look in the window, and there's a lot of trees. So I look at one tree and I asked the tree, I said, then what are you? If you are not a tree, because this is the label I have gave to the tree, and that's what I learned. But nothing I see means anything. Doesn't mean what I have given it to. So it has another meaning. So that's how I understood it. So I asked the tree, what are you? And I just waited. I don't know why I did that, but almost instantly, the tree transformed itself. Like, I can say it was God, or it was total unity with God, or it was, then all the three were the same. All the three, there was not a tree anymore. I could see the tree, but I could see beyond the tree, what the tree means, what the tree really is, like the truth of what the tree is. And there was totally unity with everything. And I was included in that. That's what is beautiful of having that experience, and I was included in that unity of everything. And then the more I do the dyad, and the more I'm here with you in doing this, not workshop, but this I have a hard time with my words. I get shy, and then I have a hard time to speak. But I realized that it starts here for me. Like I saw the tree, and then I was included in that. So doing the dyad, in Course in Miracle, it says, God has only one son. And I never understood that, but now I do. It is me. I am the son. It starts here. It cannot start anywhere else. It has to start by me. And then it's extended. And that's the miracle. That's what is unbelievable for me. It's the miracle because I cannot make myself be that. It is here, like Elaine Hamilton was saying, it is right here. It is right here. It cannot move. It cannot go anywhere else. That's what was created. That's the creation of God. So, yeah, I'm so grateful for everything, to be here and to have had that experience and to know that and to want that and to be open to that and to be willing to let it come. Thank you.
Josephine, after yesterday's meeting, I realized I never asked you how you were at the end of the hour. And I'm curious about that, and I'm curious how your experience of this moment is.
I felt wonderful. Many of the anxiety that I had pretty much dissipated. I wrote down a lot of what I wanted to remember, and I read it back. Many of the lessons, I got lessons yesterday and I appreciated that. So I felt so much better. I haven't watched much TV today. And this meditation really, really brought me to a very peaceful state. I have difficulty meditating. So I like a guided meditation. Her words are very soothing. I followed her direction, look at the space. It was new to me. And if I were to just one word to describe, it would be peaceful. She brought me into a very peaceful state, and I felt very much peace as I look around to all the faces. Almost a sense of quiet peace, even how everyone is speaking. It is so much more peaceful after hearing her. So those are my reactions, and thank you for asking, Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's so interesting. Each one of the meetings we have at an open door and in other places, we all have a title, right? Each one of them has a title. They seem to have a purpose, a worldly kind of purpose, right? And yet I sense anyway, um, in a way that's becoming clearer and clearer, that that's not the purpose of why we get together. Something else is going on that that it feels really good. Oh, Sandra's back too. I felt the hearts and I knew which box. So like that experience, which is not recorded, so no one, because it happened in the coffee with session, which we never recorded, but essentially, you know, Josephine communicated high anxiety about the world. Let's just leave it at that. And lots of different voices were shared, and there was a lot of different energy. And there's never any real drama in an open door meeting. Just isn't, even when I imagine that there could be. And you could feel a different energy just holding the whole space. Her friend Wynn, who comes on Wednesdays usually, she always, more so often, she shows up at the beginning of the hour. And if I ask her how she's doing in the beginning of the hour, there's a lot of physical pain in her world. And within the hour, she has no experience of physical pain. And that's not because we all hang out in a Zoom room, right? This is relative to the intention that has been set for what we're doing together. So it's very cool. Amy.
Just to reiterate what you were saying, I just share an experience. I was on a small plane yesterday, flying from Philly to Portland, Maine, and it was very hot outside. We were on a black tarmac, and we hadn't moved. And the pilot came on the intercom and said they were short of staff, and so we would be sitting there for a little bit. And it was very warm on the plane, and I felt myself begin to open up the door to panic. And the thought arose, what if we're stuck here for an hour? All the stories of people that, that end up on the runway and they can't get off the plane. And what if I just went nuts? And that, in an instant, all that went through my mind. And then just the practice of all of this training, the Buddhist said you have to build your boat before the rains come. And so all this training and all this being together, and I just closed my eyes and went inside into the spaceless space and realized that whatever was happening on the outside was just fine. That as our master teacher Indigo tells us, everything is always for me. And as soon as I did that, I felt the plane start to move. And it wasn't, and I said, I was very aware, don't attach your practice with the plane moving. It's all just arising. Don't form any attachment to any sort of magical thinking or any, and even if the plane didn't move, you're still there. It's all arising within your awareness. And it was just great. I know that this works. What we're doing works. A Course in Miracles works. These teachings work because I might have spent 20 minutes or 30 minutes in extreme discomfort years back. It's been a long time now, but I might have started talking or had to go read something or had to get myself out of my mind. But it only lasted, I don't know, 20 seconds. And I knew what to do. I knew how to do it. And it was good. So I just want to say, you go into that inner space and it doesn't have any boundaries. And when you realize everything out here is all arising in here, then it's effortless to realize there's no space there. There's nothing there. It's all in here. It's so much freedom. Love us, love us, love us. Good to see Alka. Thank you for turning your camera on so we can see your beautiful colors.
I had grandkids rushing around, so I had to keep the camera off.
Were you able to do any of the exploration with them there, or did you just listen to them?
I listened all the time, and I had heard Helen before, so it was easier to follow. But I didn't, of course, pay attention all the time, not when they were talking to me, and stop them poking their fingers at something and turning the camera on or leaving or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I just set up a song to send this out with, and there's still time though for if there are other voices that would like to share, like Sandra.
Hi, everybody. It's so beautiful to hear each response to these teachings. And I love what you said, Cindy, about we're not here for what seems like a worldly purpose. We're here for something much different. The only thing I would add to the discussion, and I loved listening to Helen, I always do. The word emptiness never works for me because, and she did say, I think she said it's not really empty. So I was glad she said she kind of put that in there. It's complete fullness. It's overflowing with quality, with presence, with beauty. Maybe those are mind labels, and maybe there is no label, but the label of emptiness doesn't feel what I feel. So just wanted to throw that out there. And I love what Mel said about sometimes just vision doesn't work. Look at listening to sound and then listening to silence. And I would say if we're using silence as the all that is, there's silence in the sound. So it's so overwhelmingly satiating, full, brimming with love. So I just wanted to throw that into the discussion.
Our friend Diane Scott, who's on our board, but works during the day. Damn, why do people work during the day? She had grabbed hold of a Nisargadatta Maharaj quote. I think that's where she said it from. And for the longest time, I'd hear her say it every day in the diet. She's part of my diet life too. And it was the emptiness that's full, the silence that sings. And she would use that to describe the space, right? The emptiness that's full, the silence that sings.
Yes, when we talk, yeah, and the word expansiveness is just so amazingly full. Even what we think here is empty is not empty. Thank you, everyone.
So this is a song that came up for me this morning, gave me chills. And it lit up for me as I was listening to Josephine. I could just share the sound. And if you don't like the Eagles, you could leave right now. Just a little bit of peaceful, easy feelings to end our hour, unless anybody else would love to speak. Let's do that.
Sorry. I just want to say thank you to everyone. That's all.
Why are you apologizing for that?
Okay, good point. Thank you, everyone.
Here we go.
I like the way your sparkling earrings lay against your skin so brown. And I wanna sleep with you in the desert tonight, with a billion stars all around. 'Cause I got a peaceful, I know you won't let me down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. And I found out a long time ago what a woman can do your soul. Oh, but she can't take you anyway. You don't already know how to go. And I got a peaceful, easy feeling, and I know you won't let me down. I'm already standing on the ground.
Well, hope to see you if you can make it in 3 hours, a little less, 2 hours and 59 minutes. Love us.